Well, Steve, it's not winter season, it's stealth season. Let's go. Steve, you and I are checking out a new game over on the Xbox. It is Winter Ember, and dude, I really don't understand what the title has to do with this game. I gotta be honest, it's a stealth game set in what reminds me of a Thief game. Dude, I was pumped when I saw this game. We were able to get hands on and play, and man, did I ever play. A lot of it, we got a lot to talk about, Steve, because I had some really high moments, my friend, and then there's some really low moments too. There's a lot going on in the world. Basically what's happened is you play as Arthur, and your family is pretty well known in your setting, this world that you're in, but you're about to become erased from history, and you're out to set on this quest to find out what happened to your family and why is Arthur now the only survivor. Is basically what's going on, right? So it's kind of this mystery of revenge in a sense, and intrigue that really has his motivation set behind Arthur. I do like Arthur's character. I like how he's played and portrayed throughout the game. The stealth mechanic, the biggest problem, Steve, is the view, right? And when you're playing a stealth game from this top-down perspective like we are here, it does lend itself to be a little bit more challenging in order to figure out where the enemies are coming from. You know, all of a sudden, dude, I walked over one area and then it was clear, and then somebody just popped from that area and kind of came in. So before I kind of delve too deep, dude, I've had a good time, but I've also had some unfortunate moments that have really kind of irritated me. How do you feel about Winter Ember?
Exactly what you kind of said, and it's definitely a game you'd love to hate, because let's start this rewind. You get like a little bit of a cutscene of like a drawing art style. Yeah. And I kind of, as soon as it started, I loved it because it kind of reminded me of like the early Batman cartoons I used to watch with the chiseled jaws and stuff like that in the movie. Yeah. The voice acting was good, but there's one issue. Yeah. It was totally out of sync with the animation.
Dude, like seconds out of sync, right? Like his mouth would be talking and nothing's happening, and then all of a sudden then the words would happen, or vice versa. It was just like way off, and it was disappointing because it kind of set somewhat of the tone moving forward, didn't it?
Yeah, it's like you said, it's a stealth game, but it's like I said, it's top down. Yeah. I kept getting a stiff neck because when you face it, it kind of highlights like a torch kind of way. It kind of highlights certain areas. Yeah. And moving forwards up the screen all the time, my neck was constantly looking up.
How high is your TV?
It wasn't that high. But it's just, I think it was just the angle. I think I was like Arthur, looking from top down, looking up all the time. But that's like fair. You said, but the graphically, it wasn't over spectacular, but it was suffice for this type of game because you need to see everything that's going on, because you do have to break in and climb into different buildings, which I did like, but unfortunately you can't always get into all the rooms because they're either locked and you have to either go through a window or and I love the stealth idea of going on planks from rooftop to rooftop.
Loved it. Yeah.
I could go for a
obviously
drink.
There's plenty of guards.
Fascinating.
And you've got two options to take them out. You can either do a stealth kill or you can just put them to sleep.
Don't do
that. No, and that was my first issue, was the response on the X button didn't always work. Like I tried to tap it quickly to do a stealth kill and it said it'll put them to sleep. And what I did find out later on in the game was if you put them to sleep and you try and hide them in a room or in a chest, you will have to go back to that part of the map again, and all of a sudden they're awake and they're not happy.
Yeah, it's a lot of going back and forth, right? And then you're unlocking new abilities. The skill tree itself is kind of lackluster. A lot of things there you can upgrade several times, but it really feels like it has little impact on the actual your character of Arthur, right? There are certain things to help, you know, with lockpicking. Lockpicking, dude, is a disaster. If it's on easy, then it's cool. But the basis behind lockpicking is you hold down the A, because we're on Xbox, hold down the A button, and then the minute your controller starts shaking, you let go, and then it's supposed to like pick that section of the lock. The minute it moves to medium or hard, dude, it shakes. You let go and your pick just breaks. I went through 17 Steve, lock picks. 17 lock picks, couldn't do the door. Dude, I literally text you, Steve, how do I do this? Because this is just like, it's really breaking my experience. I'm a thief, right? Like Arthur really is a thief, and it reminds me so heavily, like this must be inspired by the Thief games. I love the tone of the game. I love the characters. I love the world that they built. I love the art style. There's a lot to this game that really gravitates to my play style. Dude, I'm a stealth player through and through, but there is no point in putting anybody to sleep here. Just murder them all, Steve, because they just wake back up and you're dealing with them again. Here's the thing. Murder the guy, leave him dead in the street. You don't even have to hide him. Like, it doesn't matter, right? There's just certain elements of stealth that it really just doesn't kind of pull you all the way in, right? If you take out a body in a lot of stealth games, dude, you better hide that body. You hide that body, you get hit, blood trail behind you, right? You start bleeding and you're bleeding out. You gotta heal up. And there's a lot of cool elements within this game, dude. I really do appreciate this game. The one part though, there's cults, and there's another cult, and there's like this other clan. Everything seems really cool, and then all of a sudden these zombies showed up. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me, dude. They added in the trope of all of a sudden now you need zombies. Like, you didn't need these infected people whatsoever. You had everything from the foundation of these cults, what happened to your family and what's going on there. Everything tied so well, and then you reach a certain point where these things showed up, and I was like, why? Just why do that? It didn't have to be there at all. It was so disappointing, and immediately took me out of that experience that I was already enjoying, and it was just so frustrating to see, Steve.
Well, there was another part, because like I said, the zombies, it didn't fit with the periods.
No.
And throughout the game, you do have to go through a lot of the buildings if you can get into it, because the idea is get a load of treasure, because you need those coinage. There's not many merchants around. After probably about 3 or 4 hours, you find one, and they come in handy, because you do need to upgrade your arrows, or you could equip them, change the heads to spears, or if it's a claw with a rope, so you can climb up certain balconies. But there's very lacking on that, and I come across that you actually have to have electricity arrows to start a generator to put power to electric gates that you pull a lever to open. and with the zombies and that, it feels like you're in a different world or playing a different game sometimes, because it does pull you out of the immersion of it.
Right, so Steve, we've had some highs, we've had some lows. What's your overall impression? What are you scoring Winter Ember?
I did have some fun time. I did like progressing through it, but unfortunately for me, it's not polished enough. There's too many issues with the game mechanics that I had, the glitchiness of not seeing the guards and things like that, which was a shame, because it was a good concept. So for that, I'm giving this a 6 out of 10. How about you?
I'm a little bit higher. I gotta be a little bit higher. I do agree with you, though, that there's certain moments that you're watching the guards and all of a sudden the guards disappear and then they come back into view. I'm like, that shouldn't happen at all. Like, I'm in plain view. I can see where these guys are walking and stuff. The combat itself isn't really that smooth. It's kind of irritating. All you have to do is really wait, parry, and then you can kill a guy if you get caught, right? If you can't do that stealth kill. Love the art style, love the stealth. I love this whole world that they've built. The zombie thing's really off-putting for this whole genre that they've created, but I think they have a well-compelled story to push Arthur's motivation forward. For me, I'm there with a 7.5. Winter Ember's approach to stealth was often missing, with the top-down view making it difficult to see the disappearing AI. However, the story building and world felt great, which helped push the gameplay forward.